especially if it's our guests and our resource persons, to say something that would incriminate him, no? That would be used against him at the court of law. He was asked what's the basis of him invoking that right, when in fact the question of Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez was merely on an affirmation that the affidavit he gave during the Senate investigation was really true, because he was reading on the affidavit and he was quoting word by word the exact affidavit, an exact portion of the affidavit given by Colonel Grijaldo to the Senate hearing. And that was merely a confirmation from him. In fact, when he answered and replied to DSJJ Suarez earlier, his response is very much in conflict with the answer in itself. No? Sabi niya, I would stand by my affirmation, I confirm my affidavit which DSJJ was reading, and yet he says he invoked his right against self-incrimination. So he confirmed it, and yet he do not want to confirm it at the same time. So it's a conflict, no? Mismo sa sagot niya. That's the reason why Chairman Acop asked him what's the legal basis, what's his legal basis for invoking this right against self-incrimination. And being a non-lawyer himself, the chairman was lenient to even ask him, would you want a lawyer? We can provide you. Ang sabi po niya, hindi na niya kailangan. I just want to make this manifestation so that this cannot be twisted online. Because I'm sure there are ready trolls, paid trolls, who will twist this scenario here. Ang gagamitin naman nila sa atin ay ginagangap natin ang ating mga resource person. We have given him all the legal course in order to protect him and ask him kung kailangan niya ng legal advice. And he admittedly responded na hindi. Having said that, Mr. Chair, I have one quick question that I'd like to ask Attorney Conti. Mr. Chair, if I may be allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Attorney Conti, have you been in courts, no? I'm seeing may litigation, no? And you also present evidences. Minsan yung mga testimonies, yung mga affidavits, minsan in a manner of text message or mga video clips, no? Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor. Video clips, text messages
Yes.
are considered as electronic evidence.
Yes, okay. Earlier, you watched the video clip kanina when Congressman, the Chairman Dan Fernandez and Chairman Benny Abante entered the room where Colonel Grijaldo was already inside, no? Nakita niyo naman po, no? Yung video kanina. Yes. And after a few minutes, they exited the same room. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor, I saw that.
As a lawyer, based on your experiences in trial courts, no? Assuming that this is an evidence, and I presume this is an evidence, Mr. Chair, to prove that the two gentlemen here were telling us the truth and nothing but the truth, as opposed to the affidavit of Colonel Grijaldo. In your professional experience, having having seen all the evidences in the context nung halimbawa itong pinakita as opposed to the affidavit ni Colonel Grijaldo, would you say that it's a normal reaction of someone who was forced to lie to come out with all smiles, magandang disposition, at nakipaghawakan pa sa former colleague niya? Is it normal for a behavior of a person, individual, who are let's assume na tama yung sinasabi niya, totoo, assuming without conceding that he was forced by two influential, because kung titingnan niyo, the two gentlemen outranked him in position. Court, ito yung kumbaga, kung sa basketball, ito, advantage na, court advantage nilang dalawa, nasa kwarto, sasabihin na itong gawin mo, magsinungaling ka, etc. based on his affidavit. Would that be a normal reaction of a person who was forced to say something, to lie before his teeth na magsabi na dapat ito ang gusto naming sabihin mo at alam niyang mali at hindi tama at kasinungalingan? Doon sa nakita mo, from your professional experience, would that be a normal reaction of someone who was forced to lie?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, first, I cannot or I should not appreciate that as a lawyer. I should appreciate it as a normal human being. Your Honor, that kind of appreciation of is this consistent with human experience? It would not be consistent with human experience to see someone coerced leave a room without any restraints at sasabihin na hindi siya na pinilit siya sa loob ng kwarto. So it would be inconsistent with what we have seen. And Your Honor, this kind of evidence will only prove that, however, on the other hand, that these gentlemen went into the room, left the room at these times, and the last person to leave the room was Colonel Grijaldo without anyone keeping him in detention. So, yung, kumbaga, ang maiisip po kasi ng karamihan, yung parang restraint is parang inaresto ka. His freedom to leave the room without any pressure or even without the presence of the two others. I think the two lawyers were still inside the room. We did not see that in the video. It would say that Colonel Grijaldo was not under arrest. To an extent, as a human being, I would say he was not under duress.
Thank you for that response, Attorney Conti.
Yes, Your
In fact, Mr. Chair, the responses and the explanation of the two gentlemen, the two chairmen, was actually believable because based on sa mga responses niya, wala naman, it was plainly evident, paglabas nila, it reinforces yung mga sinasabing, yung atmosphere doon sa kwarto ay hindi naman ganun intense, no? Kasi nung lumabas sila, hindi naman for few minutes, so parang ordinary day lang. As opposed to Colonel Grijaldo, who was, I suspect, parang masyado siyang, sabi niya, may reflection pa nga eh, nag-quote pa nga siya ng Biblia. And he even went to the Senate to testify before the whole country watching that he was forced to say something and to lie. Ganon yung impact nung sinasabi niyang coercion na ginawa nung gentleman. And yet, when we look at the video, watch the video, it seems as an average-minded person, wala pong hindi po normal na behavior ang isang tao na he was forced to lie, he was coerced, under duress, tas lalabang with all smiles at nakangiti. Sir Chair. Yun lang. I'd like just to make that manifestation because again, I don't want to impress upon the public because there's an attempt really by this research person na i-twist itong nangyayari sa atin tapos may mga paid trolls na naman na ready to debunk all the truthfulness of whatever we have gathered here in this committee hearing tapos ito twist nila that we are ganging up on him, Mr. Chair.
Well,